If you find yourself talking about your partner or your relationship and justifying things or justifying their behavior, making excuses for why they're treating you in various ways or not showing up in various ways, then really consider why you're doing that. Really consider if this is the right, healthy relationship for you. I speak to women and men all the time who seem to justify their partner's behavior and make excuses for why they're doing the things that they're doing. And really, what it's coming down to is they're not having their needs met at all. So, their partner, they're going, when I'm talking to these people, they're going around the houses in terms of really not accepting that their values aren't being met, that their needs aren't being met, that ultimately they're not living in the relationship that they really want. And instead, they're giving their partner leeway for things like, oh, they're acting this way towards me because of XYZ, or they've got a crazy ex, or they're under loads of stress about work, or, they're under financial stress. And all of those things might be true. But in a healthy relationship, and I can say this because I'm in one, in a healthy relationship, what happens is even if you're stressed, even if your partner's stressed, you still are able to treat each other with loving kindness. And sometimes what happens is you might have a little, you might be a little bit cranky or irritable, but you come back to each other later and you're like, I'm really sorry I was like that. That's just, it's not nothing to do with you. And I love you so much, and give each other a cuddle and those kind of things. When I think about the relationships that I've been in the past that were not great relationships at all, often I wouldn't really even speak about those relationships very much, especially not to my parents, because I didn't want them to worry. And I knew that they would know. I knew that they would feel that it wasn't a true, authentic relationship. And I didn't want to lie about it. Sometimes I didn't say the truth about things, and I would gloss over stuff, and I'd say, oh, but they've got XYZ going on and they're really stressed out, and that's why XYZ doesn't happen, or, it's why I'm not living my best life, or whatever it might be. So if you find yourself constantly justifying and minimizing your partner's actions and reflecting on why you're not getting your needs met and why things aren't working out the way that you want them to, obviously life happens and sometimes the shit hits the fan and sometimes things aren't great. But in a healthy relationship, when those things are overcome, you're just more of a team. You work things out when you're in a healthy, loving relationship. So if any of this resonates with you, really, really take stock of where you're actually at and be honest with yourself. There's a really good question that I like to ask. Two really good questions actually when it comes to relationships. So if you 100% loved and honored and trusted and respected yourself, what decision would you make about where you're at? Would you still be in the same relationship? Would you still live in the same house or be in the same job or do XYZ? But also, if your son or daughter, if you have kids, and if you did have kids, if you had a son or daughter, if they were in the kind of relationship that you're in with your partner, being treated the way that you're being treated, or treating their partner the same way that you're treating your partner, how would you feel about that? I asked this question to a client the other day, and before I asked that question, they'd been saying all these justifications. Oh, but I just love her, and he couldn't answer my question when I said, but what is it that you love about her? Because you just always sit here and slag her off to me constantly. So I'm like, but then you say that you love her. So I said to him, you're about to have a daughter. So if your daughter was in a relationship like the one that you're in with your partner, and she was being treated exactly how you guys are treating each other, how would you feel about that? And he just went quiet. And he was like, yeah, I wouldn't like that at all. I'm like, what would you want to do to her boyfriend? Like, really bad things. I'm like, so change the way that you're being. Or maybe this isn't the right relationship for you. Yes, it's easier said than done, but really, stop bullshitting yourself about why you're doing or not doing certain things, and really actually confront what's going on. Really look at the reality of what's going on. Don't make it better or worse than it actually is. I will leave you with that today. Have a good think about that.